All right, where do I begin? So this was an amazing endeavor. It literally was an endeavor. We had 10-day long trip with my pops to Florida. I was so excited to show him more of what I love because we went together to Panama City Beach along with our friend Raul basically a year prior to this. But this was more oriented on truly researching places that we wanted to move to, right? And obviously I had lots of things in terms of different challenges, be it immigration and work or many other nuances I'm gonna share in the future, my future videos more extensively. But the premise is I was researching areas I wanted to live in Florida for quite some time, you know, real estate, infrastructure, lifestyle, I mean health and wellness, access to certain things, you know, community of Armenians and Eastern Europeans. So lots of considerations. But before we get to the actual move, let's just dive into the trip itself. And we are pretty much packed and going, guys, to the airport. Look, plenty of stuff here with us, so it's pretty cool. Alrighty, the car is there, so all good. Let's go. It was really exciting one, tough in some senses because so many things to do, but yeah, as usually I typically have very strong itinerary and plans and I adhere to that as much as we can. So obviously me and Pops just really had a great time, but it started off at Burger King of all places in the Little Rock airport, right? We had some, you know, late night food there. Then I had apparently some wine on the flight to St. Pete. It was actually Allegiant seasonal flights directly from Little Rock to St. Pete, which was unusual for Little Rock's national airport and not that many good flights, to be honest with you. But yeah, we got to our Airbnb in Largo, which by the way was a beautiful place. And then it's a 2-bedroom house with a garage and everything. Was really cool. I love the outdoor backyard space too. And by the way, we got Grand Cherokee here for the rental. I freaking love it. And look at this beautiful palm tree. I will show it in the morning. Cute one. But we basically, next morning we're getting ready. We arrived at like 1 a.m. and then next morning 7 a.m. we're already off to the races with our fishing trip. Alright folks, how about to get on the first day, and first day starts with fishing. We actually slept like 3 hours because we came like 1 a.m. in the Airbnb. And yeah, but we are ready to go. What's up, Pops? Alrighty, see you there on board. The deep sea fishing was really fun, and we caught some black snappers that we actually ate later. It was delicious, you know, really cooked well. Alrighty guys, that deep sea fishing is now actually gonna be an amazing breakfast or brunch, I would say. And Pops is doing an absolutely amazing job and cooking these, and he also cleaned them out, so it's actually beautiful. So we're excited. And then our new friend Mark is gonna stop by. We met at Armenian church and we'll have some good food together. And then the trip was fun. It actually coincided to be all men trip, and everybody just, you know, had a really fun time. We got acquainted with lots of people. The captain was a very nice person. He was there with his son. We also caught some groupers and trouts that we actually couldn't, not trouts, triggerfish, that we couldn't quite keep because it was sort of off season. Sometimes it's also about the size, like how many inches or how many, you know, what's the length of the fish that defines. The other times it's also the weight as well. But yeah, this is second trip of this kind for the deep sea fishing, because we did a similar one in Panama City Beach, but it was lots of fun. So after that, we actually had some nightly neighborhood check. We went to the one of the St. Pete's pierogi bar. There is like pierogi grill and bar, and there is another one. So there is two different. One is Polish, one is sort of Ukrainian restaurant, and it's both are really great. I kind of probably lean towards the one that's in closer to Clearwater, just because I think they have a bit more selections of what I like. But yeah, so this restaurant was great. We had some borscht and, you know, some of the foods that we missed from Ukraine, or even close to some, well, not exactly as Armenian food, but at least some Eastern European foods, right, in this particular restaurant. So yeah, the neighborhood check was good as well. Just driving around, trying to understand what are the good neighborhoods to consider here for be it a house rental or apartment rental. And obviously I've done lots of research prior, but yeah, we've seen some animal life, some cool squirrels. I mean, you name it. That's another reason I love Florida, is because there's so much nature, animal life, wildlife, like really beautiful. Alright folks, really quick Airbnb overview. I really want to shoot the video outside of the house as well. It's actually a very lovely house. And sorry for the, not too much order here, because we're really trying to kind of change clothes fast, get showers and all that done, maybe have a quick bite and stuff like that, and then pretty much heading out for the next thing, And today we actually visited an Armenian church. Excited to meet some of the fellow Armenians and get acquainted. This is cool. They have a garage here, and I just used the dryer, which was pretty good. And what else is fun here? Well, there is plenty of fun actually. We have these, which I need to use soon. I like this station. It's pretty cool. Obviously trying to iron press my pants and stuff like that. This is probably the favorite area for both me and my dad. It's just this. Look at this. So nice, so cool. We have birdies, we have squirrels here, very lovely. And you come here, take a cigarette or not, whatever you like, and then some coffee. It's pretty dope. So I think that'll be really quick. Oh shoot. These are literally, they are melted or something. So let me take them home inside. I will also film outside later on. But obviously I didn't show you the rooms. But one moment. Okay, here we go. Now we locked it. So I'll show you mine. Pops is prepping showers. What's up? Yeah, again, a little bit disorderly, but it's pretty cool. Big bed. So here we go. I see you at the next stop. Hey folks, as promised, some video outside of the house. Look at this gorgeous tree. Big one. This is my car rental, and it's a very lovely house, by the way. Airbnb. It's 2-bedroom, but for the future, the aspiration to have a 3-bedroom, but it's really cool. I mean, it's very nice. And I think I showed you garage last time, right? But it's and there is this palm tree. Oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, just wanted to have a quick view of the house for you here. Alrighty. The next morning, we actually went to Armenian church. We're really excited to meet people there, to meet our community, and just like really be in the church that we adhere to. Obviously, can go to any of the apostolic churches, and whether it's Oriental Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, or Catholic, but really being a part of the Armenian church, of course, that's what makes sense to us as Armenians, but also the fact that we were able to meet great people. It was such a welcoming community, by the way, and yeah, just was super excited to have conversations and just acquainted with more people. And that's actually after the church, we went to that pierogi grill, that is a Polish restaurant. We also, in the midst of it, were we were visiting lots of groceries for Eastern European foods, like Kiev, Euro Deli. There was another one that we went to as well, just like basically stuffing ourselves with really fun foods that I particularly missed. And I always do that when I go to bigger cities in the States that have immigrants from Eastern Europe, and you can have those groceries. I mean, especially sugar. That's my problem, right? All the sweet stuff that I could possibly find, I had an opportunity to indulge with. But yeah, it was absolutely fun. Yeah, so apparently on the same day after the church and the restaurant and groceries, we also ended up at Clearwater Beach, which was fantastic. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, this is my new friend Mark. And we're going to Clearwater Beach. What an amazing white sand.
See you later.
I was so surprised the water was too hot. It wasn't even warm, it was hot for real. I mean, it wasn't quite as bluish as, on the Atlantic Ocean side, like in South Florida, but it's beautiful. I mean, I know that when I was in Panama City Beach, it was gorgeous, almost like in Maldives. It was super clear, transparent, bluish water. But I guess it depends from season to season and from location to location. So still grateful to hang out there. And I spent time with my new friend Mark, who I actually met at the Armenian church. And so the day later, we went to Tampa. And this is another city that's close to Clearwater, Largo, and St. Pete. Essentially, you're switching from Pinellas County to Hillsborough County. And yeah, it's just all close. You have multiple bridges you can leverage. But we had some nice time. We went to the park with my pops. There was a pier and people were fishing. Just beautiful place to sort of chill. After that, we went to downtown and actually had lots of fun walking around, just observing different architecture and nature as well. Like there was also real walk boat tour that we were considering, and then we ended up taking this sort of a small tiny boat for two people. We barely fit there together. It was so fun. We had sort of a self-guided trip, riding on water.
How we doing, Pops? Woo! How you doing? Woo!
But what was funny is that it was so slow though, which by the way kind of made sense, because what you're doing is you are there not for the fun of the boat itself, but just to see the scenery and explore. But I kind of felt I wanted it to be just a bit faster. It was very unusually slow, and yeah, it was still fun though. We've seen cool things all around, be it waterfront houses, just amazing mansions, and again great views of downtown and some other nearby areas. It was a fantastic experience all around. And then later that night, we also met new friends again from the Armenian church. Went to actually West Chase area. Went to like a bar, pub nearby. Had some good chatter, some food here and there. So yeah, it was a great time all around. We then basically finished off this part of the trip, specifically in St. Pete and Tampa, by visiting the St. Pete Pier and St. Pete downtown as well. Just a beautiful, beautiful, awesome place. And I mean, the weather was so cool. It was actually quite peaceful despite lots of crowds here and there. But yeah, we had an opportunity to go to that Discovery Center as well, took some photos, nice walk here and there, went inside all the way to that rooftop like a pier tiki bar. I love those pizzas and pina colada, of course, one of my favorite drinks that I fell in love actually in Florida, because the way they do it here, the frozen pina colada, it's so good. I mean, to me, it's just a milkshake with alcohol, to be honest. But especially you can sort of amplify the effect, if you will, if you put the black rum on top, like floating, and that's just so good. Delicious. And I honestly can't believe that I'm here. I moved here already and I still didn't sort of visit it, but I have to go there for sure. Yeah, so that was pretty much ending of the first part of the trip. The next part of the trip was actually visiting Fort Lauderdale, and obviously it's very close to Miami. It's like 40-minute drive without much traffic, which most of the time there is traffic, but yeah, it's close. I mean, Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale and Miami, to me it's all one big part, if you will. But we started off by essentially we arrived to the Airbnb, chilled a little bit, unpacked, and then went all the way to Ascanelli Georgian restaurant. Also, oh my god, we stuffed ourselves with like so much food. There was a really good soup harcho that we love. They did. There was cheese. I mean, hachapuri. That's also, there is Armenian and there is Georgian. We had the huge Napoleon cake, and we like took half of it at home because we couldn't finish it. And so then we kind of just had a nightly walk, and it was a really good area to see all of the gorgeous boats. I mean, all these yachts, right? Like amazing. Some of them probably were like 10 million, 15 million, if not 20, because like really large and expensive ones. But yeah, it was a really fun beginning of Fort Lauderdale part of the trip. And we had essentially trying to explore a few apartments, and we did the same in St. Pete and Tampa, but just like a few to have an idea of some that might be feasible when the move was gonna happen, right? Which I still didn't know at the time, because again, I had to figure out so many things, whether it's the job or immigration or documents or you name it, right? It wasn't actually easy to just, move right away. Otherwise I would have, when you're a citizen or a resident, that's 10 times easier. But yeah, I had had to consider lots of aspects and just try and maneuver. But we then explored some of the apartments, so amazing wildlife, again, just beautiful nature all around, despite, lots of urbanized infrastructure and all, but seen some chameleons and, lizards, you name it, right? Then we went to the Fort Lauderdale beach, and I actually loved it. Surprisingly, probably because it was during the day, it wasn't crowded at all. There was good parking spots. A bit expensive, and everything, by the way, in South Florida is more expensive than in Tampa and Clearwater. Or should I say most things. Some are obviously similar, like fuel, or maybe even, I don't know, with access to healthcare, like things of that nature probably would be similar across the state of Florida. But food or entertainment or like parking and obviously real estate or apartment rental, all of that will be more expensive in Fort Lauderdale and Miami for sure. But yeah, the beach was amazing, just beautiful. I've seen more sort of fish when I was snorkeling and swimming really there down deep here, and the water was much more clear. But then again, obviously it's a consideration to just have among other things that I was thinking about as reasons and priorities to move. But yes, I took that into consideration, especially since that many believe that not only Fort Lauderdale is the capital of yachts and boats, like biggest clubs in the world, but it's also like one of the greatest places for scuba diving, at least in the US, right? So yeah, that was a good day as well. So the next day we also explored Eastern European groceries in this area as well. Then we went to Aventura because there is so many Eastern Europeans there too, and Armenians, and we went to Ararat restaurant, which I have been before a few times, but we really wanted to take my pups with me. We had some nice Armenian foods as well, even Armenian beer, lots of cool things. Then we actually, I believe we drove all the way to Miami, Brickell, downtown area. I just wanted to show it to pups as well, just really nice place. In fact, we were at the dock where I was going to scuba diving back in 2022, rather departing on a boat, right? So it was really fun. We took that wheel as well, like a mini self-guided excursion, if you will, just like nice views and all. There was so many people, by the way, hanging out. I love that. So I also met some of my own acquaintances and friends separately, and then I did some nightlife as well, which I haven't quite recorded, but yeah, it was fun. Went to a bunch of places and bars. It was a great time. So we also actually visited a wonderful priest Vartan, Father Vartan, at the Hollywood Armenian Church, but we were not able to go to the liturgy, so we just, I knew him already. I wanted to just talk to him and introduce him to my father. Then the next day we did go to the St. David's Church in Boca Raton. And by the way, Boca Raton is a beautiful place as well, just really gorgeous all around. You can tell it's a bit more expensive as well to live there. It's really cleaned up and all, and less crowded. But yeah, we had a wonderful time at the church. We met some people as well, new connections, which now that I think about it, we have to get back to some of those connections. And so we essentially were about to finish everything off and go for the flight, and guess what? Flight got canceled. Literally a few hours before the flight, like weird. And I had to maneuver, and we realized the best way to not overspend and stay for too long, considering that my PTO is coming to an end, was actually change the location of car rental, drop off, and go back to St. Pete, which is a 4 hours drive, and fly from there again. So we got lucky that same day, like at 7 p.m. or like 8 p.m. there was a flight back to Little Rock, that seasonal flight, right? And so we had to drive down back. We actually spent some time with my friend Mark again, and then we were off to the races back to Little Rock. But yeah, it was a wonderful time. And this was the trip, sort of have a bit of relaxation and just have a truly like a vacation experience, because we were working hard and there was so many challenges we were experiencing family-wise, or I personally at work and otherwise as well. But on top of it, it was sort of a kill two birds at a time type of thing, where we needed to analyze what makes most sense. Is it South Florida or going to Clearwater and Tampa? And by the way, I was in Miami like many times before, like 3 or 4 times, but never was before in Clearwater and Tampa areas. So it was an interesting comparison to make. So the next thing that happened, I actually took 2 months of, well, I wanted obviously for it to be faster, but it took 2 months to find a new job, and that being a precursor to all of the changes that I associated with moving in my context, right? And so after that great trip, it was lots of, hectic things, to be honest with you. But yeah, God willing, eventually it worked out. So I secured the job. I flew to Tampa, spent 3 days with Mark at his place. He was helping me out actually searching for apartments. What's crazy is that this is basically happening like a few days after the hurricane, and maybe like a week, not more than that. And what happens is that the prices again were jacked up. Obviously people had unfortunately damage to their property. Some were seeking temporary apartment rentals, and I mean, it's crazy because some places don't even pick up the phone when you call them, or they don't show up when you schedule a tour. I mean, it was insane. And then eventually we did find an opportunity to rent from the same apartment complex where my friend Mark lives, so that was great. But then yeah, I also met a few other great people, hung out a little bit in that time frame, but predominantly it was really all around just searching, securing an apartment. And then basically 3 days later I went back to Little Rock again, trying to speed everything up because there is so many things I needed to do to close out everything in the city, from internet to energy to, I mean, you name it. You know how it goes when you move, right?
It's time. It's time to pack up, folks. There is plenty of work to do. Moving stuff, protecting stuff. I also ordered protection for these cuties, which I'm gonna get soon. Anyways, there is plenty of work here. We'll get to it and report as we go.
But then I also had to make a lot of decisions very fast in the span of 10 days. I had not had any opportunity to meet some of my local friends because I didn't even tell most of them because it was just impossible in the time frame that I had. I barely had any sleep. I was thinking of what other ways to pack. Should we do it on our own with my pops? And by the way, our friend Rauf was moving with us as well simultaneously. So he was kind of changing his things, a job and everything else. And so it was a bit of a crazy but fun time at the same time, in a sense that we were grateful for the opportunity, but it was really challenging. So packing, I came down to a decision to actually do it ourselves and ordered all of the U-Haul boxes and stuff, which I think ended up being like $400+. And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna drive U-Haul myself, and I basically rented a 20-footer. But then what are you gonna do with my car? Because we have also Rauf with his car. And long story short, I shipped my car for about $800, and then U-Haul was costing me from Little Rock to Clearwater, I think it's like 15-16 hours drive for like 4 or 5 days standard. I think it was about $1,400.
What's up, everyone? Sorry, I'm a little bit not exactly the cleanest. Hey pups, let's show them. Obviously we have already some protection we put under the bed. We use this wrap to movers wrap for against scratches and stuff. We have this for the what do you call it, another protection for chairs and cover. Clearly I have my guitars and everything, and there's a bunch of stuff there. Let's go to the living room and let's just show you some things here. We have Pops with his stuff, similar situation here. And then let's go here. This is where the biggest stuff is happening, which is our boxes and stuff, and outside of the furniture. More boxes there, more boxes here. Hey Pops, let's show here. Come on. We still need to make these cuties. Unfortunately they're not ready yet because I'm waiting for Amazon to give that protection thing that I ordered. But anyways, it's quite a mess. But we're 90% essentially packed, and we have a U-Haul already, the truck, and we'll be loading tomorrow. God willing, it should work. And then we are off to the races the next day, early morning. So anyways, I see you then, folks. Cheers.
Yeah, it's some substantial expenses, not counting some other things I spent money on, but it was well worth it because everything was organized, right? The reason I bailed on the idea of hiring movers because I didn't have that much stuff anyway, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment, but also because they just like will charge you for any tiny change in the plan, like this box over this item, 2 items, and this, like, it's insane. It's just not worth it. Maybe it's worth it when you have like a 5-bedroom house with like 10 children, then yeah, you need movers, but to me, the only thing I thought of is like having physical labor to help with some furniture, but then like, eventually it's me, my father, and my friend Raouf, we were able to do it ourselves. So yeah, the shipping of the car is a great service, by the way. There is like a humongous long semi-truck that comes with the driver, and then they just pick up your car and, you know, place it, and it's all good, and you will get it in a couple of days at the location of your choosing. So that worked out well. Everything was good, to be honest with you. Yes, some nerves, some anxiety about how to drive. Like U-Haul apparently is crazy in some sense that it's going well, but it has no, like, you cannot make U-turn with a U-Haul. Funny enough, U-Haul U-turn, it's actually like you have to make, what's the other turn, 3-point turn or whatever you call it, but it's not really convenient when you do it on the, you know, roads where there's plenty of cars. Thank God I didn't have to do it a whole lot, maybe once or twice, but yeah, I just noticed that the morning of driving, I didn't have experience of driving these long cars before, even pickup truck, let alone this kind of a 20-footer. But the only thing in the span of 16 hours that I did, like I chose once a wrong road, but other than that, everything was perfect, actually. Thank God, safe. You know, we had all of our gas station brakes. Raoul had a few challenges with his car in terms of like he had some bumper things that he had to stop a few times. But anyways, more or less, everything was safe, secure, property-wise and otherwise. Also, I'm kind of proud that I was able to drive all 16 hours because actually initially I thought we will like change it up and we will have Raouf drive his car and me drive U-Haul and vice versa every like 2 or 3 hours. But then yeah, I just said, you know what, let's just keep it like, let's not make any changes and let's just, you know, keep it stable like that. So just let me just drive the whole way. So when we did arrive, we sort of, again, there was some issues because you cannot have like everything perfect. I actually was pissed at the apartment complex because they left the apartment completely not done. Like they did not clean enough, lots of trash, some, I mean, broken stuff down to like outlets. I was super pissed, but I had no time. I had like literally 4 days and my job starts. I was like, oh my God, I don't have time to deal with that right now. Plus I don't have like that many other options of apartments. But yeah, thank God eventually, like with some professional pressure that I put on the maintenance and others there, eventually in the span of like a week or two, we solved most of it and, you know, cleaned it up and moved our stuff. Apparently there was so many boxes that I also wanted to keep some like from like technology, right? You want to keep them for warranty and other reasons as well. And because they have this like styrofoam and some other things that will protect your items, it's like electronics especially, that makes like much more sense to use than later buy a more expensive box that won't even fit the item, like it will not secure the item properly, right? So anyways, we dropped off the U-Haul truck, cleaned everything up, you know, met some neighbors. I got my car back, I believe like a day or two later, you know, visited church, started my job like first week, right? Eventually, slowly getting sorted within like 30 days, 30 to 60, I was feeling more and more sort of stable. Now, our friend lived with us for the time being, then he moved to another city in Florida, and you know, everything was great. I also realized, again, speaking of boxes, that you have to think about storage rooms because these apartments, they come smaller, more expensive and smaller than compared, for example, in Little Rock, Arkansas, where I was, right? More affordable and bigger sizes. It depends on the apartment complex too, but yeah, it's a consideration to have. And so I eventually ordered a storage room as well because yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. That's something you may need to keep your stuff there. But yes, it has been now more than 4 months, right, since the move. There are still some things we have to do, both me and my dad, like, you know, supporting each other and trying to figure out whether it's documents or, you know, finding new doctors, and because you have to replace everything, right? You have to find a new physician, you have to find and this, that. Like it's crazy, right? A little bit. But we've done so much in this timeline, and I specifically just pressed on getting things done fast. You know, there are many great new things that we are doing already that we were not able to do in Arkansas, so grateful for that. Yeah, just excited for the journey to come. Everything is sort of fresh start, if you will. Again, United States immigration is still challenging, and there are nuances there that I have to deal with, but I'm pressing forward. You know, God willing, everything will be great. So yeah, thank you, and I hope you will follow along my other adventures.